Hi, welcome to Tyne Valley Motorhomes. My name's Callum and this is the handover video of the Elddis Majestic 185. So starting the walk round on the exterior of the driver's side of the vehicle, you've got your two Dometic fridge vents, followed by two outlets which are breather holes in the side walls where the microwave's located on board the vehicle. To fill the vehicle with fresh water, you need to carry yourself a hose pipe with some hose pipe fittings, as the site normally just provides a brass tap. This little key here allows you to lock this flap, and you don't pull it off, you slide it up and you'll be able to put the hose pipe between the two lugs in here, fill it until it overflows, until you look on board the control panel and see how much water is on board your freshwater tank at any one time. I personally would just put the hose pipe in and wait until it overflows, then I know that I've got a full tank. Underneath the van there's two taps, there's one blue and there's one grey. Blue is a freshwater tap, so the water you've just put in here, if you want to drain that off, should you have taken on a source of contaminated water, drain it down for the winter, or simply not using it for a while, you'll just open that up and allow that out. And the grey is your dirty water, so this is anything that you've put down a plug hole. So shower water, dishes water, cups of tea, anything. Drive over the designated disposal point on site, open this up and allow this to drain. One little top tip for you: if you're winterising the vehicle in the winter, you want to make sure these are both open and left open when you're not using the van when we're experiencing frost. But should you know that it's your last sight of the year, drain them both down when you leave your site and leave them open, and then on the drive back home you'll rock any loose water out by leaving the valves in the open position. Using the tri-mark key, which is a squarish looking key, you'll be able to open all your exterior locks, including the battery locker, which this is. This has one Varta leisure battery in here, and it also has your hookup point. So whether you're hooking it up at home or you're hooking it up on site, it's the same procedure. So you get your hooker blade, you want to slide it behind the locker door so that you can lock the lead in place and secure the door. Lift the lid and slide it onto the hookup point of the vehicle first. Then hook the site or your outdoor socket at home to charge the van on the driveway, and do it in reverse order when unhooking, so that you're never walking around with a live lead. But it's very important in the winter time that you hook the vehicle up when not using it to maintain the battery charge. If you are putting it in a storage yard and you can't hook the vehicle up there, remove the battery, take the battery home with you and put that on a trickle charge charger in at home, just to allow the battery to take some charge, because if the battery goes flat and you leave it flat for a while, sometimes it won't then take a charge and you will have to replace the battery, which is not what you want. So we recommend every 2 weeks that your batteries are charged. Pressing both locks in on either side, you'll be able to release the door, and this is your cassette locker. So lift the orange handle, put your fingers underneath, and you'll be able to slide the cassette out of the van. Once it's out the van, you can either carry it or you can wheel it to the disposal point. Most toilet blocks disposal points are nearby the toilet block. And then to empty, unscrew the grey cap, put the grey cap to the side for a moment, pour the contents out. As you're pouring it, press the orange button in. It will allow a bit of air into the cassette, and it will give a consistent flow and allow everything to come out the cassette. Once it's out, there's normally a tap there, bit of water in, cap back on, rinse, tip out again, and then 120 ml is the capacity of this cap. Fill that with your chemical, whether that be blue or green, pop it into here and pop it back into the van, and then it's good to be used. If the cassette, however, does not come out, it's because you've got the blade open on the bowl of the toilet, which I'll explain once I'm inside the bathroom. But that would stop the cassette from coming out. Just here, this is your flue for your heating and hot water system, so that will allow a bit of, one operate on gas, that may allow a bit of white smoke out there and steam. Don't panic, that is just from your heating system. And then at the back here, another wheel point, again slides up. This is your external shower point. So inside the van you'll get a hose, clips on to here, very similar to a garden hose. And on the other end of it you've got a trigger gun. As long as the pump's on, you'll get a pressurised flow of water, so you can hose the dog off, the kids, the bikes, the boots. On the back panel of the vehicle you've got 2 bars here where it's been strengthened to take a bike rack, so it would just be a Fiamma bike rack that would go on here. And at the top you've got your high level brake light followed by your rear view reversing camera. So this is your gas locker. So again, opens with the same Trimark key. Press both in to release the door. And in here I've got my 6 kilogram propane test bottle on board. So when you put a gas bottle on board, what you want to do is you want to strap it in and sit it in situ in the wedges so that the bottle is nice and safe and secure with it being tied in. To connect this type of pigtail, which is a thumb wheel pigtail, so it doesn't need a spanner, you can just tighten it by hand. It's left to tighten, right to loosen, opposite ways with it being gas. And then it's as simple as turning the bottle on 1 or 2 turns, which allows the gas through, making sure that the bottle is turned off before you start travelling. You can carry a separate bottle on this vehicle, so you can fit 2 6s in, which means you've got a reserve bottle should you need to disconnect the pigtail and connect it to the spare and exchange the one that's empty. Located next to it you do have an external gas point, so LPG. Connect the quick release connection in with some gas hose, connecting that with the Jubilee clip at the top and the Jubilee clip onto the Cadec or barbecue. Turning the tap on, it will use the gas on board instead of carrying a separate bottle for your barbecue. Your habitation door opens with the round habitation key, so separate key for the door, so you can unlock it and you can lock it. You've got a domestic awning, awning light, ensure your own non-collection. It's a bit windy here today. Any wind speeds over 15 miles an hour, do not use the awning. But beside the passenger door, you do have your diesel filling point. So that opens with the main Peugeot key. And then underneath, AdBlue, so it's 19 litres on a boxer. It'll illuminate when it needs it. Fill it up either by cans or by the pump. I personally would go by the pump, because by the barrels of AdBlue you can be charged £30 for 10 litres. This takes 2 of them. But on the pumps you'll pay about £1.20 a litre. Fill it up, it'll do 5,500 miles on a full tank. Once you've covered about 4,500, you've got 1,000 left, that's when you normally get your warning to fill the AdBlue system up. Tyre pressure, so 5.5 bar on the back, which is 79.5, and 5 bar on the front, which is 72.3 psi. On this model, with it being the newer Majestic on a 71 plate, you've got heated seats, so you just push them in on both driver and passenger and you'll get heated seats in the cab. Engine batteries underneath this compartment in the floor. Bonnet releases here, so you need to open the passenger door to allow you to pull the lever for the bonnet. And then underneath you do have to the driver's headlight, you've got your screen wash in the top corner. 3 tabs lift this cover off and you've got your power steering and your coolant. You've got your brake fluid, your oil filler, an oil dipstick here for checking your levels. Paint code, should you ever need it, is on the shiny sticker. But should you ever need to jump start the vehicle or jump start a vehicle off the motorhome, you'd put your earthen point, which is a black clip, on here. And then this is your air filter next to it. Pop the key in, lift this up, and you've got your red positive clip there for giving or receiving a jump start. Weight plate can be found here. So this is a 3.5 ton gross vehicle weight, 5.5 ton combined weight, which is also known as your train weight. So you've got 2 ton to tow behind the motorhome, front and back axle weights, and then every Elddis has a unique chassis build number, should I say. So this is unique to the motorhome conversion. If you need any parts, any warranty claims, just quote that number there. To operate your 12 volt control panel, you've got a master switch, which is the on button here, which turns on your 12 volt system. So should you have charge in your leisure battery, you'll be able to press this button and it will bring on the power from the control panel, from the leisure battery, should I say. Master switch for your lights, and then they all are individually switched. This one is your awning light, which is the light on the outside of the motorhome. And then should you have water on board, you'll be able to turn the pump on and you'll get this green light to say the pump's running. When the taps are open, the pump will automatically kick in, and when the tap is shut, it will stop because it's got a micro switch built into the taps. But make sure that you've got water on board before you put the pump on, otherwise you could burn the pump motor out. To check if you've got water on board, you press this button here. So this will tell you how much water you do have on board. And this one tells you how full your leisure battery is, making sure that you unhook the battery first to get a true reading of the leisure battery. As when hooked up, it does give a false reading as the charger is involved. To operate your wheel heating and hot water system, so you've got heating, which is this button here, and hot water, which is the top button. The room temperature is on the plus and the minus and goes all the way up to 30 degrees. You can have it on frost start, which is the snowflake at the start here, which is above 5 degrees, or you can have it on the moon, which is nighttime mode, which is 15 degrees. And then, like I say, where it is now is at 30 degrees. So starting off with the hot water. To heat the hot water, you've got a few options of which source you want to use. So you can have it all the way down to off, press it once, snowflake, which is frost start, which keeps the water above 5 degrees of freezing. You've got one wavy line, which is 750 watts, which is the lower output of electric. You've got two wavy lines, which is 1500 watts of mains 230 volt power. You've got gas, which is gas on its own, which you'd use if you were wild camping or weren't hooked up. The only way you could heat your water is on gas. You've got gas plus one wavy line, which is gas plus 750 watts of electric, so it's using electric and gas together. Or you've got gas and two wavy lines, which is gas and 1500 watts of electric. So if you're in desperate need of hot water, have it on this source, and what that'll do is it will reduce the time it takes to heat the 10 litres up in the boiler. So that should take around 7 to 10 minutes on both sources there to heat the full 10 litres of water up in the boiler. Then when the water is warm, stop wasting your gas and just turn it back to 2 kilowatts of mains power. Underneath you've got your heating. So to heat the vehicle, you've got again 750 watts of mains 230 volt power, 1500 watts of mains 230 volt power, 3000 watts of mains power, gas on its own. So if you're wild camping or weren't hooked up to heat the motorhome up, you'd have to use gas. And then you do have gas plus 1500 watts of mains power. Always make sure you turn them off like so and allow the system to go quiet, and this will shut them down correctly. Otherwise what may happen is you'll get a exclamation mark on the side, and to avoid this from happening and to clear the code, you'd have to press whatever's failed. So say the exclamation mark came here, you'd press heating and hot water in together and it will eliminate the exclamation mark. If it was hot water and plus together, press and hold to eliminate. To lock the habitation door from the inside, you just lift the catch up, and this is in the lock position, and then you go down to open the door. You've also got a fly screen on there to keep the unwanted guests out in the summer. Do just be careful if you've got dogs though that they don't run through this. So in the kitchen on this model, you do have on your hob 3 gas burners plus 1 electric hot plate. So the electric hot plate will only work when you're hooked up to mains 230 volt. If you're not hooked up, you will just have to use your gas. So you've got your electric hot plate this side, and then you do have 3 gas. So pull the gas through. There you are. So if the gas has been off, you'll have to pull it through. Best to do it on the hob first. There you are. So you've got 3 gas rings that are lit. Once you've had them on, if you do, just allow them to cool before you put the glass lid down, otherwise you may shatter the glass. And underneath, you've got your grill. And underneath your grill, you do have your oven. Any parts for the oven, grill, hob, your stickers here with your model number and make on. Underneath you've got some storage, but you've also got your 3 gas isolation valves. So you've got your boiler, your fridge and your oven. Any problems with gas, turn the bottle off to be safe, but if you did just want to individually isolate one appliance, you just turn it the other way. So that's closed, they're open, top one's closed. But these are mainly for when the vehicle is annually habitation serviced. Cups and plate holders. Plug for your microwave, which will only work when hooked up as well. And this one's also fitted with a solar panel, so it's flashing there, which means it is charging the leisure battery as we speak. However, when the vehicle is hooked up, it does go to sleep. This will only work when you get a sunny day, so in the winter not so good. In the summer, brilliant, it will just put a bit of charge into your leisure battery. So it does its own thing. Just make sure that your panel and your roof is clean. 800 watt microwave, 2 230 volts plugs for kettle and a toaster, which works when hooked up. If you're not hooked up, these will not work. And you've got your lights for your kitchen. Water system's working as you've got a pressurised flow of water, and it's getting up the temperature there on the hot side as well as the cold on the mixer tap. To operate the Majestic 3-way fridge, you've got a 3-way selector on the left hand dial. So at the top here it's off, so if the fridge was off and you were storing it, not using it over the winter, or it was parked up for a couple of weeks, you'd have it in the off position. You'd also have the door open, and on the side of the light here, you press this in, so push it in, it can be a bit fiddly. These 2 pins come out and it stops the door from shutting and forming an airtight seal so air can circulate. So that's how you'd leave it if you were storing it. However, if you are using it, make sure that's in. If you are pre-chilling it at home, or you were on a site with mains hookup, you'd select mains, which is this one here, and you've got a picture of a plug there. And then if you have pre-chilled it a few days before, put your shopping in the night before, allowed that to chill, and you're now ready to travel, you turn it down to the next one, which is battery. Or you've been on one site and you're ready to drive to your next as you're touring around, put onto battery, and it works off the engine battery when the engine is physically running, not the leisure battery. And it just acts like a giant cool box and keeps your shopping nice and fresh when you're traveling. And if you weren't going to a site with mains power, you'd have to use gas, or you are what's known as wild camping. Turn down to the gas flame, which is at the bottom in the 6 o'clock position. This is your temperature, so you'd adjust that to suit. So when pre-chilling, have it on full. When you put your shopping in, turn it down. But when lighting on gas, you need to push this in and the piezo ignition and watch the orange band go into the green. So always have it maxed out. And if you've had the gas off, it should take, if you've had the gas off, it might take a little while, but as you can see there, the orange band's gone into the green. So this is your gas indication that it's lit. So orange is in the green, it's lit, and it's ready to be used on gas. So now in the washroom, which is across the back of the vehicle on this model, to operate your toilet, ensure that the pump's turned on the control panel, and what you'll be able to do is press this blue button, which is just here, which is your freshwater flush from your main freshwater tank. Flush your toilet. Always flush it first because it helps lubricate the seal between the cassette and the top of the toilet. And then before use, this grey lever here, like I was talking about outside, is the blade, so that needs to be open. Everything goes into the cassette. You can flush it after use. Spray your pink if you've put in a spray bottle with some water, because it doesn't have a separate header tank on this van, but it is a bowl cleaner and a odour neutralizer. Spray the bowl, flush, and then once you've finished, you always want to get into a habit of closing the blade. If the blade was left open, the cassette will not come out the side of the van. Once the cassette is full, you'll get 3 green lights underneath the diagram of the cassette here, indicating that it's full. Large wardrobe in the washroom. Just showing your hot water system's working, and your water there is red hot. Underneath, pushing the catches in first, you do have some toiletry storage space. And then you do have your shower cubicle. So please do be careful what you clean your shower cubicle out with. There's a little care instruction sticker here. No bleaches, no harsh chemicals, no scourers, because you will damage the finish of the plastic. Just use washing up liquid, Dettol spray, or a microfiber just to wipe it out. Otherwise you can discolour the finish. And always ensure that the catch is on the shower screen when travelling, as it stops it from moving around when you're driving. And then finally, when you do winterise, you'll have opened all your taps outside the van, you freshen your waste to eliminate any water. You want to open all the mixer taps within the van. So the 2 in the washroom, leave open in the middle position of the mixer. Unclip your shower head, unscrew it from the hose from the head, and lie this down in the shower tray. So then any loose water in this pipe can drain out via the shower tray and not freeze over the colder temperatures that we have in the winter. Underneath, on the front fascia of the driver's side single bed, just beside your washroom door, you do have this little hatch which you open up, and underneath it does have your consumer unit in. So you've got your main trip tester here, so if you weren't getting power, the best way to check is by tripping it. If it trips, you've got power. If it doesn't, you're not receiving power. And you've got your MCBs. You've got all your fuses, which are 12-volt fuses, so do carry a pack of these, which you can buy on eBay or Amazon. Carry them in the van with you, and if a fuse does blow, you can replenish the fuse. And then you've got your tank heaters, so if it's going to freeze overnight when using the vehicle, you can turn that on there and it will keep the fresh and the waste tank above freezing. However, if you aren't using it, drain it down to avoid the water from freezing in the winter. But this you would only use when you're away from anywhere from November, October to March. So as Elddis have a berth for belts policy, this is a 4-berth vehicle with 2 hidden travelling seats. So what you need to do is remove the cushions off your front lounge, lift this up, and when you lift it up, just under here, you need to press on both sides, but lift it up a little bit more so that you can press and fold the front fascia flat. Then you'll be able to assemble your rear travelling seats, which is exactly the same on the other side to it is on the driver's side, like I'm demonstrating now. So lever here, slow movement, otherwise the seatbelt will tension and you don't want that. So grab a hold of a bit of belt to give you that extra space. This one does the back. So assemble the back, lift it right back, and then the base has got two locking catches which go onto here. So you want to put them onto there. It's also got Isofix, so if you're carrying children or grandchildren in car seats, the Isofix car seats will fit straight into there, which is, these seats are bolted into the chassis of the vehicle. And then to put them back away when you arrive on your site so you can get your lounge back, take the base cushion off, fold it down, fold that back, and there you go. Under the driver's side rear lounge seat, just behind the travelling seat that I've just shown you, is where your boiler drain is. So it's very important that you drain your boiler off when we're going to experience cold weather and frost. So anywhere from the end of October to March, if not a little bit longer, depending on what the English weather is like. This is your drain down toggle. When it's pointing to the driver's side, it is closed. To open it and allow the 10 litres out of the boiler, you turn it to the back and it will drain the 10 litres out directly underneath the chassis. Once you've done this, you'll open the freshener waste outside, you'll open all the taps within the van, you'll remove the shower head from the shower hose and lie that pipe down in the tray just so any water can drain off. And then you would put the control panel on and put the pump on for 10 seconds, no longer. This will blow any water that's sitting in the filter of the pump out to avoid that from freezing and causing any damage. When you want to use the van, whether that be the odd weekend in the winter or you're waiting for the weather to get a bit better in the new season to come, what you would do is you would shut this valve first, shut all the taps within the van, shut the freshener waste tank outside before filling the vehicle with fresh water. Once you have filled with fresh water, you can come inside the vehicle, turn your control panel on and turn your pump on. Go to the cold side of the tap first and you'll get a pressurised flow of cold water straight away. Once you start mixing the cold water with the hot water, it'll start to cough and splutter. And what that's doing is it's transferring the water from the fresh water tank into the boiler and allowing the air out the tap. Until you get a pressurised flow on the hot side, then your system's primed. Once you've done one tap, do them all, and then you are ready to go for the season. However, I can't stress enough how important it is to drain down the vehicle in the winter to avoid the water from freezing, otherwise it will void your warranty.